Welcome to the show, All Things Writing. I am your host, Brian the Writer. Let me take you on a journey through my writing life and introduce you to some of the amazing talent that exists in the writing world. Whether you are looking for a little advice or just to catch an interesting interview, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. All Things Writing starts now. Hello, everybody. Welcome to All Things Writing. I'm your host, Brian the Writer. If I sound a little more baritone than normal, it's because I have a cold. I have this congestion going on here. I woke up this morning feeling like my brains were going to literally explode out of my head, and it was very, very annoying. So I finally took some cold medicine, drank a couple of cups of coffee, smiled, and went about my day. It was not easy, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there slowly but surely. This video is not for me to complain about things like being sick. So I'm just going to let it go. I'm just going to let it go now, for now anyway. Glad you're with me on the show today. I hope you've been enjoying the videos. I'm working on getting a few more interviews set up. I actually owe a couple people responses for interviews. I just have not had the time to sit down and write responses. Been pretty busy lately. That's a good thing, though. I've got a new book coming out here in literally about 5 days. The next book in the Dramatic Dead series is going to come out. If you don't have the link to pre-order, you've only got a few more days to pre-order before it comes out. I'm going to post a link here just for you guys to use. Please go to that site and order the book. If you don't know by now, I've been giving away, if you look back on my social media posts, you'll see that I have been giving away copies. Maybe I'll post that link at the end on how to get a free copy of the first book in the series, by the way. And that's the revised version that I did after I wrote the original book. Why would you revise a book? Well, I've talked about this before. There were just some things in it I did not like. Speaking of things I like it when you hit the subscribe button. So if you will please do me that courtesy, go up, hit subscribe, share videos around, share to different people and say, hey, what's up? I want to talk today about social media. I will be honest. I don't like social media, mostly because when people think of social media, they think about things like Facebook, Instagram, and the others, Twitter. I'm really only active on Facebook, Twitter, and lately I've gotten re-engaged on TikTok. Reason being is book talk has become such a big thing, and I wanted to make sure I was involved in that community as well. So far, it's going okay. It's going okay. I don't mind it. A little bit of work. Work is the name of the game when it comes to social media. When I do social media posts, I don't want to just sell you things. Conventional wisdom states that 80% of all of your social media posts really should have nothing to do with selling anything. But here's the funny part. Consider the way you consume social media. The reality is that you are not going to be looking at social media all day long. You're not going to look at every post that somebody posts out there. You're not going to be on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, and you're not going to go back and look at all the social media posts that person has posted. That means that in order to keep up that 80 to 20%, you have to post pretty much continually throughout the day. I mean, we're talking like 8, 9 posts a day. How do you do that? A couple ways you can manage it. First off, you can go in, if you want to take the freebie route, go into Facebook and actually plan out all your social media posts, program them at a time that would make sense for you to be posting. Do some research. Honestly, find out when the best times, when statistically the consumers of social media are going to go in and look at different types of posts. You would be kind of amazed. I have done my own research, and as it turns out, posting in social media, the times when people are more likely to look at Facebook postings about books are 7 to 9 in the morning and about 7 to 9 at night. The times in between, people really aren't engaging with those types of conversations. I'm still going to tell you to post during those time periods as well, just as a rule. The reason I'm going to do that is because the more posts you have out there, the more likely you are to catch fish. Because that's what it is, a fishing expedition to a certain extent. You're pushing out media and you're saying, here, people, look at what I've got. Not everybody's going to look. Not everybody's going to stop and look. As a matter of fact, a recent TikTok posting, I noticed that it was watched 246 times. It's not bad, but what it does tell me is that although gazillions of people use TikTok, I'm only getting a very, very, very small, tiny little amount of those people. That's reality. So if you take that and you extrapolate to things like Facebook and TikTok and Instagram, you can see sort of the uphill battle that we're all fighting as independent authors. I know a lot of indie authors that post to Facebook, and I'm going to be perfectly honest. A lot of them are posting to their friends, and their friends happen to be authors. The authors are not the ones we should be targeting as a group. That's why I like book talk, because book talk, rather, BOOK, so it's hashtag BOOT, no, BOOKTOK, book talk, okay? The reason I like that is because it sort of gives you a little bit more of a focused viewpoint. People that look at books are interested in books. I think it makes a difference. In social media, of course, the numbers are really the name of the game. You can post pretty consistently over the course of the year and still only have gained traction after a year's worth of effort. Think about that a second. That is a kind of a grandiose commitment, that reality. So you have to do it. We have to do it. We don't have a choice. So what do you post? If we believe in the 80-20 rule, 80 being, again, non-sales pitches, or non-sales things, and 20% being, sales. I personally believe that you're okay putting in sales pitches mixed in with your hey, how you doing? Wishing you the best. Sometimes I'll do like theme postings. I'll take a whole week and I'll just do postings about famous writing quotes or dogs in literature or whatever I happen to be feeling at the time, because the reality is I don't want to spend my whole life coming up with social media ads. I know, shocking, right? I'd rather be off doing other things, like, for example, I show this to the screen. Right now, I am working on a manuscript for a book I wrote. I've got all of the feedback from my first reader, as I call her, Mrs. Bryan, the writer. And I'm going through her comments right now before I ship it off to the editor or the publisher, because that's what I want to be. I want to be a writer. You can get very, very wrapped around the axle with this idea of social media, to the point where social media posts almost become your entire life. And that's what was happening to me, to be honest. There was a lot of times that I felt like all I was doing was writing social media posts. And this was recent. I mean, I had to go back to my old advice of focusing on the times when I write the best. That's important. When am I at my best for writing? It turns out first thing in the morning is really my best time to write. It's when I am at my most creative. It's when my word counts tend to be, quite frankly, the highest. Those first 2 hours in the morning after I sit down to write is the best time. I can write 1,500 words in an hour. That's actually not a problem. That's fairly simple for me to do. And because it's an easy enough thing for me to do, I have to click my screen here again. There we go. It goes dark every once in a while if I don't do. That's why I was off reaching this direction. But if I don't capitalize on those 2 hours, they're wasted. The same can be said for social media postings. When are you at your most creative for social media posting? I find that I actually do the best mid-morning, and I set aside about an hour and a half, 2 hours just to do that. I don't do, so if you post 8 times a day, 5 days a week, that's 40 posts. So, do you write 40 posts? No. What you do is you come up with about 15 posts and recycle them. Because if somebody looks at your post at 8 in the morning, they're not likely going to see that same post when they're going about their daily thing at 2 in the afternoon. You never know what's going to hit people differently. So think of it this way. Let's put it in a restaurant context. There are people who like bacon and eggs for breakfast every morning. Okay? There are people that are more than happy to eat bacon and eggs for lunch. Still, there are people that will eat breakfast for dinner. If you were to turn that into a social media post and you put a post about bacon and eggs special at a restaurant, and you only ran it from 7 to 9 in the morning, you're missing out on the people at midday and in the evening. So consider mixing up how your social media posts are going. Time them out differently. Mix them around. Don't always post about one particular thing. Another thing to keep in mind is that some social media posts work better than others. People love Instagram. I know that. I don't mind Instagram, but the problem is for whatever reason, it lends itself very, very well to people just sending you email garbage. I had to abandon my postings on Instagram because I was getting so much garbage generated from that. I couldn't deal with the amount of stuff coming in. So I finally gave it up and went back to just Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. A last word about social media postings, and I say this sort of tongue-in-cheek because I watched somebody do it recently, and I just had to shake my head and say, what are you doing? Do not feel at any point that you have an obligation to respond or reply to any comments being made on social media. Don't do that. If you're a writer, an independent writer, don't do that. Why are you? So there was a old sign that hung in my grandpa's garage when we were growing up that said, "Never argue with a fool, because listeners can't tell which is which." I think that's sage advice. Don't argue with people on the interwebs. It's a terrible idea, just a terrible plan. So, anyway, those are my 2 thoughts, my 2 cents on social media postings. Please keep in mind, please go out and read or pre-order my book, The Nameless Dead. I actually have, let me grab the copy for you. This is what it looks like. It's a beautiful, beautiful cover. It's really, really, really lovely, and I'm pleased with the way the whole thing turned out. I mean, just the cover itself is gorgeous. Wow, who did that gorgeous cover, you might ask? I did this myself. I do covers sometimes. I do covers for people too, if you're ever interested. So, again, thank you for listening. Give some thought to your social media posts. I use and this is not an endorsement. I'm not getting paid any money to say this, and I don't prefer them over any other sort. I'm just saying I use Loomly myself. Loomly allows me to schedule everything out all at one time and then go about my daily life. That way I can spend my time doing writing and not social media posts, because I want to be a writer, not a social media influencer. Anyway, so that's all I've got for all things writing. I hope you have a great day. Don't get a cold like I did, because it's no fun. It's kind of miserable. Thank you for joining me, and you guys all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Bye. This has been another amazing episode of All Things Writing. If you heard something that got your wheels spinning, check out the links in the show notes. Also, please follow the show and remember to leave those reviews. Those simple acts of kindness mean the world to us. Hop on over to briannowak.com, and that is Brian with a Y, and check out my latest novels. I'm on Amazon or wherever you buy your ebooks. And as a reminder, the music you heard on the show today was used under license from the artist Ryan Ancona. Thanks for listening to the show and have a blessed day.